out for trouble and make it double. To protect gamers from devastation. To play games made in a foreign nation. To denounce the errors while wearing this glove. The games aren't all bad. Sort of. Chet. Norman. Team Yaocket Grunt playing games that break copyright. Actually, I give up. These games are a fright.
I am suffering! Please end me!
Hello, and welcome to Bootleg Yaocket Grunt Corner. Last year I played a little game called Pokemon Orange. Not an official Pokemon game, it's a bootleg. And it was a lot of fun. It had a lot of problems, but it was a lot of fun. And I decided, I want to play a lot more Pokemon bootleg games. So I went and I grabbed this. It's perfect for the inaugural episode, since I'm a Team Yaocket Grunt, I decided to play Pokemon Team Rocket Edition.
Watermarked with the years 05, 06, and 07, this bootleg is from the mind of Pokeglitch, and much like D. Tyler before him, there is a self-insert once you get to the repurposed Game Freak building.
I edited the overworld sprites.
I am the map redesigner.
I changed the text.
Those three are the same person. Pokeglitch worked on this hack as a one-man team. Well, you need to learn game design, you're distasteful, and because of you, I will suffer nightmares for years to come. And I will address each one of those statements near the end of the review. So, as you boot up this game, you do get some custom art. The Nidorino Gengar fight has been replaced with a Meowth and Ekans. And on the title screen, we have James. Which is pretty cool because in this game, you play as James. So I go and I hit the new game function, and who am I greeted by but Giovanni. He explains how me and my sister Jessie will be competing to become his successor. So we start this game and I head around town and I can't really find Giovanni. But I do love how Professor Oak's aides have been replaced with Team Rocket grunts. But with no Geo to be found, I decide to head off. Don't try to escape. You were hiding from me, dude. So we go back to his lab and we get to choose our Pokemon. We get to choose from Coffee or Meowth. That is correct. Well, I'm gonna try and emulate James in this playthrough, so I went ahead and chose Coffee. But oddly enough, Jessie chose Meowth, and I lost our first fight because Smog could not hit worth beans. After that, Jessie just takes off, and Geo tells me to scram as well. Much like Pokemon Red, which this game is a mod of, I get a package from the First Town's Mart, and I'm instructed to take it back to Giovanni. He chuckles as this is a newly acquired Pokedex, and he decides to give it to me to assist me on my journey. So I head out again, and I really start feeling like a member of Team Rocket. This guy gives me a potion so that I don't hurt him, and he says that Giovanni is smart because he built his hideout in the forest. A forest which is right next to a town with, quote, the largest police force in the country. There are 4 people in this town, my dude, none of which are policemen. So I leave that town and we come to the very first Bootleg Blunder. Trademark, LLC, that's my idea.
Bootleg blunders are game design choices that are so bad that you can only see them in a bootlegged game.
This first blunder is that you are stuck in this cave, and the only way out is going all the way through or death. And since the very first Pokemon trainer in this cave has 3 level 11 Pokemon, I opted for the second one. Over and over and over again. I was brought down to 4 Pokebucks before I finally beat this guy. I also caught my very first Pokemon, Growly! And for this playthrough, I limited myself only to Pokemon that Team Rocket used in the anime. And as a boy, James had a Growly. The name didn't really work when it was an Arcanine, but whatever. So, with Growly and Coughing in my possession, I emerged from the cave! I healed up, and then I ran into Jessie, who absolutely rolled us with 4 Pokemon from levels 15 to 18. After an hour of thumping fire types in the volcano, I tried again, and just barely managed to squeak out a victory. After that, I had access to the gym and Nugget Bridge. I decided to level up on the bridge since the gym's aide told me that Sandy has water-type Pokemon and that will make Growlithe almost completely useless. So, I get to a training. And after going to the Pokemon Center between each battle, I absolutely durgled everybody on the bridge. And at the end, I met the Team Rocket Grunt, who just handed over the Nugget, which I thought was just so cool. This really makes you feel like a Team Rocket Grunt. Since other Grunts are your friends, but no, you still have to fight him.
You were so close, Pokeglitch. You just missed it by that much.
After that, I continued down this path and ran into a lot of trainers, and this is a constant problem. I don't know how many trainers are jam-packed into a real Pokemon game, but this game is truly absurd. Now, it's not like Pokemon Orange, where the trainers have some rare Pokemon 20 levels above you and it just kills you outright, but there are usually like 20 trainers per area, and I will say this, they are very fair. So fair in fact that you can win, but your Pokemon will be badly hurt after every single battle, and your only choice is to go all the way back to Nurse Joy.
Get help! Please! My brother's dying! Get help! Help him!
And after every battle, you get further into the map. So as you walk back and forth, every trip just gets longer and longer. It's ridiculous. It's a bootleg blunder. TM. So after a little more than an hour, I found Bill. Billy with a Y. And he functions the same as Bill. You know, you help him out of the suit and he allows you to enter the St. Anne. But the reason that he was in the suit is because of Jessie. You see, she stole his tickets. So he can't really give you the ticket, but he does give you a weapon.
Thanks?
So I managed to get Growly and Coughing up to level 22 with all those trainers that I took down. At last, I believed it was time to fight Sandy, and I was feeling pretty good about my Pokemon right up until I defeated the level 24 Vaporeon, and a level 32 Lapras came out. Alright, looks like we got a new training regimen. Vaporeon is worth 1000 EXP, so I'm gonna throw my corpse at that until the Lapras dies as well. So, this PSX 900 plan is a pretty intense workout. Before I finally beat Sandy, I had to lose a lot. Each loss costs half of the money you have on you at the time, and I lost enough times to have 0 Pokédollars left. In fact, my win was just a stroke of pure luck. So I got super lucky and my very first attack poisoned Lapras, and then I just spammed the potions. But I also had to get lucky enough that Lapras would not use attacks that would do more than 20 damage. Fortunately, it did this for the remainder of Lapras' life, and then I won. 1 gym down, 7 to go. After this, I talked to some cops, and I saw the worst creative decision in this entire game. Sprite choices. So they made lots of choices, and they haven't been too bad. Like, first off, you know, they show me as red when I'm on the character creation screen choosing my name, and you know, that's fine. I mean, they did have James on the title screen, and I guess I don't know a whole lot about modding. I guess you couldn't put that here, but whatever. Also, Jessie's sprite is represented by a female picnicker. Personally, I would have gone with a beauty, but maybe they didn't want to use other beauties if they used that for Jessie. Like, there weren't any female picnickers. And whenever you enter a battle, it shows the back of Professor Oak's head. Okay, whatever. And I'm okay with most of that, but I'm not okay with this choice. All cops in the game are represented by Rocket Grunts. That is literally the worst sprite choice you could have had. Could you not get the officers from Gen 2? I don't know. I mean, even male picnicker looks more like a policeman than a grunt, but seriously, anything other than the polar opposite should have been used for the cops. I mean, even a swimmer would have been a better choice. It's kind of hard to embody the rocket life when you're constantly trashing your fellow rocket grunts. So next I headed south and I ran into the Pokemon Graveyard. And I just want to say, I hate Jessie. The game called her my sister, but that's true, she's a terrible sister. And she's nothing like the anime Jessie, who would trade playful jabs with James. In fact, I consider her worse than Gary. So we're in the cemetery and she says, "Our Pokemon don't die, they only faint. Let's see if I can kill yours."
Oh! Well, I never!
Fortunately, in my several attempts to beat her, none of my Pokemon died. But when I went deeper into the graveyard, I realized it just wasn't going to happen because the channelers are just absurdly overleveled. So I left that place. And I ran into a Bellsprout, which is perfect because I remember in the anime James constantly getting eaten by the Weeping Bell. So I went ahead and caught that, I evolved my Coughing, and after beating this one trainer, I got some good news about Weeping Bell and Growlithe. Because in this game, leveling up replaces the need for stones. So I get to this next city, and I wonder if that first NPC we talked to should have been here, because over half of the buildings are inaccessible because they have cops in front of them. And unfortunately, this includes the gym. Well, the real gym. The dojo was still available, so I made my way through that real fast, and much like in the real game, once you defeat the Kingpin, he offers me one of the awesome Pokemon. So I decided to take old Brucey here, even though I won't be using him. But when I tried to grab Jackie as well, the game says, "Don't be too greedy."
Better not get greedy! Are you kidding? This is Pokemon Team Rocket Edition. I would argue that this is the perfect time to get greedy.
Once I left, I got properly traumatized by the overworld sprites, and I realized while playing this game that they are as unstable as the power structures in the Congo.
Oh yeah, putting that Philly D viewership to work.
But what are these sprites? Abominations? Half cop, half lady with one eye, pleading in agony for Reg to kill it with his incinerator arm. Later I found these trainers, and once I talked to them, they became a block of text.
Huh. I wonder what it feels like to just become a bunch of letters. Ow! 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 Ow!
Perfect. Kill me later.
This couple had the boy turn into a Pokemon at one point. There were some swimmers later who became a bunch of GIOVANNIs. However, to the game's credit, it never crashed while doing this, but it was a bit disconcerting. So my footage for the next part is actually lost, but what I did was I entered the ship, and I had to use the weapon to threaten the guard to let me on. And once I finally beat Jessie, I didn't even get to use the weapon on her like Billy wanted me to. But I got the HM cut from the captain, and I got myself a scyther, but not to fight. Rather, I used him for landscaping, which is exactly what I needed to enter the next gym. Before the fight, I decided to talk to the hype man. The leader is Sergeant Bolt.
Awesome name.
He is probably the strongest trainer you will face, outside of the Pokemon, of course.
What Pokemon though? Crustle?
The battle wasn't that hard. Our levels were actually pretty on par with one another. Heck, even my Weezing had the same level as his star pupil, Raichu. Yeah! I got the Thunder Badge! After that, we headed on over to the next town, which had a restaurant. That hamburger is horrible. I should have gone to Wendy's.
Now that's technically food.
After that, I found the casino, and so for the next 7 hours, I tapped the A button over and over and over while playing Armello, Overwatch, and while watching some anime. But my low estimate is that I hit the A button a minimum of 50,000 times. But I got myself to max coins, and that's good because I needed 5,000 for the raft. I don't know what's with these games introducing Earth items, but since I never found the HM, it's cool. I also picked up a Licky Tongue, not because James had one, but Jessie had one in the series, so I consider it kosher. After that, I headed on into the gym, and I was greeted by a level 49 Alakazam. After that, I left the gym and went all the way through this cave, which led to the city with the Safari Zone. But nothing really big happened there. I mean, I did find a bunch of items, but Weezing did learn self-destruct. And this led me to, 4 hours of walking into a cave, sending out my lowest level Pokemon, switching to Weezing, and then blowing myself up. It was actually a very effective strategy for training. And while I didn't get myself quite up to level 49, taking out all of Koga's trainers was easy. Oh yeah, that's another thing! Koga, Sandy, Sergeant Bolt, actual Koga. Most of the trainers in this game are repurposed, but I guess that Koga and Bruno decided to come to this fakey, not real world. And while I'm on the subject, later on, you assault Silphco. That is a very cool thing for a member of Team Rocket to do. But Silphco is not in Real Guard Town. I've played Super Smash Bros. It's Cerulean City. It says right there on the side of the building. Well, due to my over-leveling, Koga fell quite easily, and I headed off to the sea, where I met all those GIOVANNIs. But since this is a fan-made game, I was able to make some of the swimmers swim through the ground. And I did take the long trips back and forth between the Pokemon Center and all the battles, and fortunately I'd gotten a bicycle by this point, and it helped a little bit. I even found myself a level 61 Cloyster, and I instantly got that thing, you know, because Jessie had a shelter in the TV show. But then tragedy struck. A few times I was tapping the A button while I was using the raft, and I accidentally tried to use it while I was on the water, and it usually said there's nowhere to get off. So once, just once, I decided, okay, what if I try to get off where there is some land? But when you try and do this, well, it causes a seal underneath the back end to shatter, and all hell breaks loose, and the demons come, and then, I lost the Cloyster because of that. And then I spent over 20 minutes trying to find another one! With all the swimming that's been done, we get to a city that's in the middle of the sea. See, we got the Pokemon Center right there, Mart's right there, you even got the Warden. They also have the gym. And the hype man at the front of the gym has gone from, you know, laughing at you for catching Fire-type Pokemon to being just completely useless. Do you think you can win? Yeah, I think so. Believe me, you won't. He's good enough to be in the Elite Four.
Okay, first off, screw you! Second off... Actually, that's all.
So the leader's name is Rocky, and he uses Brock's sprite, so naturally he sends out dragons. But, you know, 4 hours of self-destructing and I managed an easy W. Seriously, dude? Go screw yourself. So, after that, I hopped into a cave and waded through an excessive amount of trainers and made it to the last town. This one had a tough gym that apparently doubled as a police academy as well. Tons of tough trainers. I had to heal after every single one of them. But I do want to show you one of the trainers' text. Oh, also one of the trainers had a Tauros that knew Leer and Tail Whip. This annoys me way more than it should. But I made it to the gym leader. What's this? You followed me to my gym? This is only for officers in training. You think you can disband the police force? Let this be our final match!
Followed? Final battle? I think this guy already knows me. And this is only my 5th gym. I think I did something wrong.
So, after winning the match, I realized I had screwed up pretty badly. I was right at the beginning of Victory Road, and I didn't even have strength. So, now it's time for some major backtracking, since this game had a huge bootleg blunder that made me accidentally sequence break a large portion of the game off. So first, I went back to the Safari Zone and found the Warden's pocket watch, right next to a sign that said they were looking for his pocket watch.
I can't believe I lost my cat. Go spread the word. My cat.
After returning it, I got strength, but I don't have the gym badge to use it yet. Oh, also, while I was looking for where the flip to go, I entered Pokeglitch's building from the back. I went up to the top of the building, and that's where I met a dude who just straight up gave me Mew. Huh, neat. So now I headed back to the casino because I remember some mention of like a police academy down there, and naturally there was, pretty normal. What wasn't normal, however, was the Aerial Fossil and the Skabootops. But whatever, I meet the police chief for the first time, the second time, or whatever. His Machamp is unevolved, so he was much easier to beat this time. Now I can assault Silph, who literally has 11 stories with at least 4 trainers on each one, and some information. After fighting the 40+ trainers, I had the real final battle with the police chief. With his defeat, I got myself the Ghost Scope from the president, but as bad as the 40 trainers was, it's much better than the Ghost Cemetery, which is just 7 huge rooms with 3 or 4 trainers apiece, which all spam Hypnosis and Confuse Ray. On top of that, there is a high encounter rate with these Ghastlies, which also have Hypnosis and Confuse Ray. And actually, I did most of this training back before the self-destruct training, so it required a lot of walking back and forth.
I hate how many trainers there are in this game.
But after trudging through all of the trainers, I identify Marowak and its skeletal remains and murder it for a second time. Then I go and KO all of Mr. Banks' bodyguards, and I get myself the Pokeflute. It would have been really nice to have this when I was fighting all the people who keep using Hypnosis, but hey, no more waiting for my Pokemon to wake up. Now they get the treat to awaken to my beautiful, lovely, dulcet tune. So now I can move Snorlaxes, and I actually forgot where the Snorlaxes were. There was one out in the middle of nowhere that wasn't even near towns that was blocking off fake Erica's gym, which I can now go to. I forgot her name. It's at the bottom of the screen though. Also, when I finished attacking Silph, all of the cops in the town disappeared, meaning the one that was blocking the gym is now gone. So I can head into that gym, which was run by Hermione. Team Rocket are evil.
Okay, that's like hurtful. Do you think maybe you can keep your commentary to yourself? I mean, I didn't even take the Hitmonchan. I'm not a monster!
So after all of that fun, I was finally able to use strength. I forced my way through that puzzle, and I even ran into a mart, and I loved this mart because it did something that doesn't happen in official Pokemon games. It sold max revives. Thank you, Pokeglitch. But even after making it through all the strength puzzles, I couldn't make it past the Indigo Plateau. It wasn't possible because I still don't have the Volcano badge!
Okay, that's worth like 50 bootleg blunders.
So now I need to find Fake Blaine's gym. And I got seriously lost here, because the area with the gym is just blocked off unless you have a pass. And the pass is at the back of the abandoned power plant. And this info isn't just given out. Oh my gosh. Bootleg blunder. And I also take back what I said about the max revives. Fortunately, there is one playthrough here on YouTube, and I honestly wouldn't have been able to beat this game without that. So finally, I made it to the gym. Alright, let's answer some questions. You can learn every TM and HM. Okay. Oak is not the head of Team Rocket. Alright.
Are there Pokemon who can only evolve through trading?
Wrong? Okay, I know that this game is lending a hand by, like, not needing stones to evolve, but hold on a second.
Four Pokemon evolve only while traded by link cable.
Social commentary. I'm a genius.
And that's not even the most offensive part of this gym. I didn't battle the last trainer because I got the last question right, but I still talked to him after I beat Blaze. And he says,
I was distracted.
yay! Sucky map design, unstable overworld sprites. And dude, that's just not cool. So at last, I made it to Victory Road, and I find my notes absolutely hilarious here. I didn't even realize it, but I just wrote, Victory Road sucks. Twice! Because it really does! So the random Pokemon are over level 70, so I can't use repels to cut down on the monotony. And the travel between the nearest Pokemon Center and back is through all of Indigo Plateau, the Strength Puzzle place, and a lot of overworld stuff. And when you come back, all of the strength rocks reset, so you have to do the puzzle all over again. You know, honestly, every time I decided I needed to hit up Nurse Joy, it took a little over 10 minutes. I hated this place. Oh, also, every single trainer had at least one Hyper Potion. That's cool! But after 3 hours, I emerge. A wiser man. A stronger man. A broken man. Okay. Only 4, but probably 5 trainers left. The first one is Crystal, and looking at her Pokemon levels, I guess that I was going to be training one-on-one with her for a while, because I only have 4 PP restoring items, so when I decide to go for the top, I am only going to have 1 shot at it. So, after an hour of smashing my head against Crystal, I went for it. I had a pretty good run with her, and I figured now is as good a time as ever to go for it. As mentioned, Bruno is one of the few unchanged trainers in this game. Well, in his name. He now uses Psychic Pokemon, and of course his signature Pokemon, Polterghost. After Bruno is Professor Oak, and I actually really enjoyed this fight. Raichu, nice, nice. Venusaur, I like it. Blastoise, cool, cool. Charizard,
See? That makes sense.
Mewtwo.
That doesn't.
After beating him, I headed into the final boss. I wonder who it is. I mean, the police chief used Lance's sprite, so... Oh! It's Giovanni! That's actually really cool! The secret's out. I am the head of the Elite Four. If you plan on being my successor, you must be able to beat me! So we start battling, and I gotta say, what kind of Elite Four idiot this late in the game has a Pokemon that knows, let alone uses... Leer! Us, we're the idiots. All in all, Giovanni was a pretty tough and fun fight, especially with those Pokemon levels. But when he's using moves like Leer, well, naturally I won. Now, I'm fully aware of the trope, and I'm ready for it. What do you know? Jessie beat me here, that sly dog. What I wasn't ready for was a level 100. And let me tell you, with Pokemon levels like that, I feel perfectly justified in abusing Toxic, Max Revives, and of course, Explosion. So Giovanni came in, scolded Jessie, told her he never wanted to see her again, and took me to the Hall of Fame. And you can tell at this point that the game is just trying its hardest to keep it together. But it did manage to keep it together long enough to register me and my Pokemon into the Hall of Fame.
So, that's Pokemon Team Rocket Edition. Pretty well balanced game. In fact, it was too well balanced. The monotony of walking back and forth is probably what I remember most clearly about this game. It was a lot of fun, but that sequence break in the middle just made the whole game unravel and fall apart for me, and that leaves a sour taste in my mouth. But I think I can condense my thoughts of this game into one word. Gay! Alright, so I'm gonna do a lot more Pokemon bootleg reviews over 2019. So, I'm gonna do a bit of a giveaway. Is this a particularly good Pokemon card? No. In fact, it has some scribbles on it there at the bottom. But not just any scribbles. This is the signature of Stuart Zagnut. That is the original voice of Professor Oak.
Hello, Chad. It's me, Professor Oak. But you're on your way to becoming a Pokemon Master.
So what you want? If you want to win this, just comment on my videos in 2019. Every single one comment will enter you into it. I would say comment, rate, and subscribe, but I have no way to check if you did ratings, and subscriptions can always be taken back. But if you comment on this video, and don't comment a bunch of times, I'll know if you comment more than once, and I'll just invalidate both of the comments from that video. But every single comment on my 2019 videos, not just the Pokemon ones, will get you another entry. And at the end of the year, at December, I'll use like Google's random number generator to see who wins this card. Not this card though. It's also signed, but it says to Chet. But this one isn't signed to anyone, so it could be yours. Alright, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.